is Saanvi Gullapalli.
And this is Shree, Parvathaneni.
And today we'll be doing a video about how inflation impacts the economy. So first, what's inflation? Inflation refers to the general rise of prices of goods and services, which decreases the purchasing power of consumers. In simple terms, it means that the same amount of money can purchase fewer goods and services due to price increases in inflation. I'll give you an example. For example, every month, let's say you go grocery shopping. Every week you spend $100 on the same shopping cart. But with inflation, that price will go to $105. But that's if inflation rate is 5%. Now, this will happen across many areas, such as gasoline, rent, and entertainment. In short, inflation means that over time, your money decreases in value, and that you need more of it to pay for the same amount of things. So there's two impacts of inflation. Number one, the purchasing power decreases. With inflation, the value of your money goes down. So if your income doesn't increase at the same rate as inflation, then you'll be able to afford less over time. Number two, daily life. Even if your wages stay the same, rising prices on everyday goods and services can make it hard for you to maintain the same standard of living. Shree?
So what increases inflation? Increased demand for goods and services, or demand pull inflation. That's when the demand for goods and services exceeds their supply and prices tend to rise. This can happen when 1. The economy is growing rapidly and consumers or businesses want more products. People have more money to spend, often through their higher wages or lower taxes, increasing their demand for goods. 2. Rising production costs, or cost push inflation. That's when the cost of producing goods and services rise. Companies typically pass on those costs to consumers in the form of higher prices. These costs could increase to 1. Higher wages. If workers demand higher pay, for example due to labor shortages, businesses may raise prices to cover the cost. Increased raw material prices, for example, if the price of oil goes up, shipping and production costs increase, leading businesses to raise prices. Supply chain disruptions, global events, natural disasters, or pandemics can disrupt the production of distribution and goods, making them scarcer and pushing prices higher. For example, the COVID-19 pandemic caused major disruptions in the global supply chain, leading to higher costs for various goods from electronics to food. Saanvi?
So monetary policy is another way where inflation increases. When a country's central bank prints more money and expands its money supply, inflation can rise. More money in the economy means that each individual has more money to spend, which increases demand and it increases prices. So for example, in response to the COVID-19 pandemic and the 2008 financial crisis, the government put a large sum of money into the economy through lower interest rates. Now what happened was more people had more money to spend, but the production was still to stay the same. So the production didn't increase. This increased prices and also in turn increased inflation. So number two, expectations of inflation. If people expect inflation to rise, they might start acting in ways that actually cause inflation to rise. For example, workers might demand higher wages in anticipation of higher prices. This can cause a wage price spiral. Or consumers might rush to buy products before prices further increase, which increases current demand. This can create a vicious cycle where if people expect inflation to rise, it actually ends up rising because of their actions. So, Shree?
So what reduces inflation? So decreases in demand or demand destruction. If consumer and business demand for goods and services drop, inflation can decrease. This can happen when 1. People cut back on spending, often due to higher prices or economic uncertainty. The economic enters a recession or growth slows. Supply side improvements or cost push reduction, when businesses are able to lower their production costs. Example, due to cheaper raw materials or improved efficiency. They can reduce the prices of their goods and services, which helps to combat inflation. For example, if the prices of oil falls dramatically, the cost of transportation, manufacturing, and many other sectors also decline, which help bring prices down. Tightening of monetary policy, when a central bank like the Federal Reserve raises interest rates or reduces the money supply, it can help lower inflation by making borrowing money more expensive and reducing consumer and business spending. Higher interest rates makes loans more expensive, which discourages spending and investment. As demand decreases, prices tend to stabilize or even fall. Saanvi?
So government intervention is another way inflation can reduce. So the government might reduce taxes or offer subsidies to essential goods such as food, fuel, and medicine. So this can help reduce their prices during inflationary periods. The government can also do price controls, which is maximize the amount of price goods and services can be. This can help combat excessive inflation, but it can result in supply shortages. Also, an improvement in productivity. When companies or businesses have better productivity due to efficiency or technology, they can then produce more goods for the same or lower cost. This can offer rising demand. This can offer rising demand and reduce inflationary pressures. And lastly, currency appreciation. If the value of a country's currency appreciates compared to other currencies, then their cost to import oil, machinery, or etc. will be less. This can reduce production costs and ultimately help reduce inflation. Shree?
So, how governments and central banks control inflation, monetary policy tools. Central banks have powerful tools to influence inflation by adjusting interest rates, controlling money supply, or engaging in open market operations or buying and selling government bonds. They manage inflationary pressures. Fiscal policy. The government can also impact inflation through fiscal policy, which includes government spending and taxation decisions. Reducing excessive public spending or increasing taxes can help reduce overall demand and curb inflation. Saanvi?
Inflation in daily life. When inflation is high, everyday items like groceries, gas, rent, everything's expensive. So if your wages don't match with the amount of inflation, then it's hard to afford basic needs or everyday items. On the flip side, low or moderate inflation can stimulate spending and investment as people feel more comfortable with the value of the money increasing over time. And that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Bye!